Today's video, we're going to talk about tCPA versus tROAS bidding. Which is better? Depending on what your situation is right now, one is going to be better than the other. I'm going to explain what situations it is better to run tCPA versus tROAS, and then versus the other way around. Switching from tCPA to tROAS bidding, by the way, get you better results in a large chunk of the time. In some other instances, though, we'll say 10% or so of you guys' situation, switching from tROAS to tCPA bidding is going to make you the most results. So I'm going to go through what those scenarios are in today's video, so you understand how to be able to make the most money you can make from your ads moving forward. So with that said, getting started here, you will often get better results from your Google Ads account if you start out with the tCPA bidding strategy, or as Google now calls it, maximize conversion bidding strategy, versus the maximize conversion value bidding strategy, which would be formerly called tROAS bidding strategy. And then switch over to tROAS a little later on. You'll make more money starting out with the maximize conversions bidding strategy or tCPA bidding strategy, and then switch over to tROAS or maximize conversion value bidding strategy after a period of time. Okay? Why is this? Because people will inquire more than they buy, and that extra data matters a heck of a lot in the results that you're going to get from your account, short term in particular. Google Ads system is all predicated on machine learning and AI today in today's environment. A keyword is not just a keyword anymore. If you're selling red shoes and you think you're going to bid on red shoes, and now that your ad shows up at the top of Google for red shoes, you're done, and that's all the results you're ever going to get, you're sorely mistaken. Google looks at the thousands of different individuals that search for red shoes on an ongoing basis, whether that's male versus female, old versus young, rich versus poor, parent versus non-parent, has visited or made a search related to red shoes in the past or not, and on and on and on and on, to identify which people buy, which ones don't, from one vendor versus another vendor, and they are constantly trying to optimize the Google search results, including the ads, for better experience for their users so that people want to click on ads in the future. You're going to have 20 times the profit made from your ads year 2 than you are going to have the first month starting out, because you've collected data in your account, and then with that campaign, in order for Google to decipher should your ad show up for this part of your keywords versus that other part. And with display campaigns, it's a similar principle. YouTube campaign, same thing. Because the data that says what part of whatever you're doing works versus doesn't work so critical in terms of the ROI you're going to get from your campaigns, and whether you get an ROI, a positive ROI or not, what you want to do is set up your conversion tracking and your bidding strategies to take advantage of as much data as you can, more geared towards volume of data in the beginning versus accuracy of data, and then eventually switching to accuracy of data. Why? Because you can afford to. That is, when we're talking specifically about expensive products over $100 in cost, people will often inquire, okay? And they'll often inquire before they buy, and a lot of times they'll buy after long periods of time, which makes the tracking of your cart tracking only so accurate. In most e-commerce spaces, the cart tracking is going to be between 1/3 and 2/3. It'll underestimate the amount of sales that your Google Ads actually influenced by 1/3 to 2/3. So you're only going to get so much purchase data, but what you will get more of is people that inquire, call, or fill out the form up front. You'll almost get all of those inquiries tracked. You should track those as well, even though cart sales is really what you want to try to track and optimize for. And use that inquiry data to steer your ads with. The more expensive the product that you have to sell, the more likely it is that the cart sales that you're able to pick up through your cart tracking, it'll be less and less accurate, whereas the inquiry level data you'll get, because people either inquire right away or they won't for the most part, the more quality of that data you will have. As it applies to this, what I was talking about, what you should do if you sell something that's fairly expensive, and you'll have to decide based upon your situation, if what you're selling is $100, that's going to be a hell of a lot different than something that sells for $1,000 and $10,000, given that the average amount of time that it takes for people that are initially inquiring to the time that they buy, which in the marketing world they call the sales cycle window. And the more you're going to benefit for using your bidding strategy on your campaigns to optimize for inquiries than it is that then it will to optimize for the ROI or sales revenue or sales through the cart. And to give you an example of it, in terms of mattress sales, okay, a company that sold expensive mattresses, in that particular case, we actually optimized for inquiries up front, given this was a very specific, particular type of mattress. And we actually did a lot better optimizing, because we actually started out with optimizing for cart revenue, and then I was like, no. We need to optimize for inquiries here. So many people are waiting so long to buy. We're picking up very little data from the amount of people that click on the ads that we could measure like later on buy, that we should just optimize for the inquiries up front, because we're going to get a lot better data up front, a lot more of the data up front. And then after we get 30 cart purchases, now we can switch over from optimizing for inquiries to optimizing for sales. Granted, we still have the same problem of, with that $5,000 mattress, we're only going to pick up about a third of the actual sales that come through that we get from as a result of our ads, but it'll consistently undercount across everything, so we can still get more results optimizing for cart sales than we could optimizing for inquiries. A lot of you guys selling like industrial equipment, that kind of thing, you're gonna do a lot better, like let's say over the first year, optimizing for inquiries than you will optimizing for sales, because so many people are gonna inquire up front, and you'll get a good chunk of data up front that if you use that to optimize your bidding and whether your ad shows up for somebody or not, you're gonna get a lot more results a lot quicker that way than you are gonna be optimizing for cart revenue. Until you get that you have amassed that 30 to 100 cart sales, just switch over to maximize conversion value / tROAS bidding, and then you'll get that will give you the maximum profit you can get from your campaigns. But short term, your results are going to suffer a lot if you just try to start out with tROAS bidding right away. If you are on tCPA bidding now and you need to switch to tROAS bidding, regardless if you having that 30 to 100 cart sales that you need to switch over and actually be able to get more results than you were with tCPA bidding, know when you make the switch, you're going to have a few weeks of erratic performance where the results are not as good as what you had before. Don't make that switch from tCPA to tROAS bidding and come back here and say, you're a liar, my results went backwards. Well, the algorithm hates change. Any change you make, whether it's positive or negative, is going to negatively affect your results short term until the algorithm can readjust, which is the other reason why if you're going to make any kind of changes in your account, you need to be making them with 100% certainty that this has a high likelihood of being beneficial to you. You never know for sure, but where amateurs think that they're clever is they'll go ahead and make this change. Oh, that doesn't work. I'll make this change. Oh, that doesn't work. And they think just doing that, they're going to be better off than hiring somebody who has an experience to know basically within 80% levels of certainty what strategies will and won't work for the most part. So you're making as little changes as possible in your account and experiencing as little volatility in your account as a result of those changes. So just know when you make that switch, long term you got to do it because you're going to make way more money switching to tROAS bidding than tCPA bidding. We're talking 3 times as much money. You got to go through that 30-day patch of time where your results might be half of what they were literally speaking before. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. You'll get through it and the results, the 50% of results you would have got the month that you make the change, right after you make the change, you're going to get that back 100-fold with the increase in results you get from tROAS bidding down the line. You always got to put things into perspective long term as you do stuff with optimizing your ads on Google Ads or any ads that you're running, because there's lots of things you can do that won't get payoffs right away. You got to think about whatever you're doing, what's the payoff for the next 5-10 years figuring this out. Many times what you do is not going to work out, and because the algorithms that drive, algorithms drive Google Ads, Facebook Ads, Microsoft Ads so much, and you're going to see negative results making any kind of change. You just got to know going in, it'll be worth it to absorb that loss short term so you can get the long-term benefits out of it. And furthermore, what a lot of people will do that are amateurs is they'll make a change, they'll get negative results because of the change itself, and then they'll undo it which will cause more volatility, and then they'll make another change to try to make up for that volatility, which will cause more volatility yet, and then they end up in this toilet bowl swirl down that if they would have just calmed down and not panicked, they wouldn't have just basically destroyed all of the results they've built up over how many months or years of running their accounts. I've seen people do that. Or furthermore, they will experience a week of bad sales and they'll start panicking and they'll make changes which will cause the results to go more negative. And they'll make another change to make up for the, to try to fix it, and that'll make things go more negative. And reality is, on a week-to-week basis, you can have anything happen. It's very common to see sales where you'll have 50,000 a week in sales pretty reliably, and 1 week you'll have 10,000, and it's just an anomaly. Week to week, you never know what's going to happen because search buying habits change that are affected by the weather and affected by the political stuff that's going on at any given time. So you got to know that and not be so reactive. On a month-to-month basis, that's a lot better to know if something's actually broken. But even on a month-to-month basis, there isn't a lot you can do, particularly if you don't compare that month to the previous month the year before, because things are usually seasonal in most businesses in terms of the ROI you're going to get and all that. But even better is to look at on a quarterly basis, comparing this quarter to previous quarter last year, because that's going to iron out all the short-term fluctuations that you normally experience. Just in terms of running ads, it's part of what everybody's going to get. Everybody wants results to be rock solid all the time, but really it's never going to be like that. You got to be able to just deal with that. And you got to realize that if you have a good week, that's not the standard now. It's going to go down, and then long term it's going to go up. But what people will do also is they'll say, "Oh, 2 weeks of great sales. Oh, all of a sudden now it went down to where it was before. Oh, something's broken." No, you got spoiled basically. Anyway, I'm getting off the beaten track here. tROAS bidding is also ultra important if you're selling different items or have any kind of upsells. Why? Because obviously one customer is worth a hell of a lot different than another customer when you're talking about traffic that comes from a certain keyword. Based upon males will spend 20% more than females, and you need the algorithm to optimize for people that are going to get the most out of males, given that they're more profitable, and therefore you can spend a little bit more per click for males. Well, if you don't have target ROAS bidding set up, it's only going to optimize the cheapest customers that you can get, which are not the most profitable customers. If you don't have any upsells, you need some. I just made a video about how to apply one-click upsells and the strategies we use that are profitable for e-commerce sites to drastically change the economics of the amount of money you're making from a set amount of traffic you have to your site right now that anybody can do. So you can watch that video as well in addition. But in summary here, if you're using tCPA or maximized conversion value bidding, and each customer is worth a little bit different than another, you need tROAS bidding, assuming you have at least 30 sales through the system, through your cart, or through the cart plus any offline sales that you brought online if you take phone orders. If you're selling something that very few people purchase to the cart because what you're selling is very, very expensive, you might be certainly better off with tCPA bidding and taking on the optimizing for cost of lead and getting leads at a certain cost versus the cart revenue itself. Optimizing for cart revenue itself, you may be a lot better off in that particular situation, just because what you're selling, very few people buy through the cart right away, and so therefore obviously you'll have the algorithm will be able to optimize for you better using lead data in that case. You just have to based upon what you're selling, decide, do you have enough quality revenue data to use maximize conversion value or tROAS bidding and get the best result out of your ads, or is it tCPA / maximize conversion bidding strategy? Is that going to get you the most results? With that said, that's pretty much everything I can tell you in terms of tCPA versus tROAS bidding, which is going to be better based upon your unique situation. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time, or lately it's been within 24 hours. I'll typically get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel. You can ask me, by the way, any questions about anything I talked about here today, or any ad-related question, and I'll get back to you with using my 15 years of ad experience to try to put you on the right path of what you're doing as best as I can, just as a thank you for helping the channel grow. With that said as well, if you are trying to make millions of dollars running ads for your business and scale your business through online ads, this is the channel you want to subscribe to. And if you're not subscribing already, you should, as this information is as valid as it gets. Most of the people that you find on YouTube and online that are talking about running ads for your business or to run ads or being able to run ads aren't able to give you first-hand information. They're selling courses and they're giving you second, third-hand information that they've heard somewhere. They're not actually running ad strategy like I am, 40 hours a week on dozens of ad accounts. I literally work just doing the strategy 40 hours a week for our clients, for our dozens of clients and dozens of ad accounts, to figure out what works and what doesn't work. So we have strategies that work for our clients, and our team does the execution. But in terms of somebody who just figures out what works and what doesn't work, I believe I have more information I can give you here on a silver platter for free than anybody else does on YouTube as well as on the web that you can personally find. Therefore, you should subscribe right now if you're serious about making money with that. With that said, I also have a blog that I run and maintain at guaranteedppc.com/blog, where you can also find information about how to run ads successfully, way that is formulaic that we use at our firm to guarantee results for our clients. The strategies come step by step with screenshots, all of that stuff that you will find very useful. If you like the channel, you're going to like the information on that blog as well, or even better, like many people say, it's better than even the channel. So you should check that out as well. I run a advertising agency, as I mentioned, and the name of it is Guaranteed PPC. It's called Guaranteed PPC because we do not charge our clients fees unless we can get you more results on your campaigns, namely profit, more profit than what you're making on your ads currently or in the past. And if we can't make you more than what our fee is, then we do not take a fee at all. So the only catch is we got to know we can get great results with our clients' campaigns up front before we take a client on. We don't work with just any client. But if you want to see if we can work together in that kind of capacity, you can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be happy to give you a free assessment and or analysis on what you're doing to try to estimate how much results we could bring to you in addition to what you have. Do an 8-quarter projection and see what the opportunity might be there. So maybe we could work together, maybe we can't, but you won't know unless you reach out to me. You don't like to work with an ad agency per se that will just get all the results for you. You want to manage your own ads, which is totally fine. A lot of people don't. However, if we've worked in your niche market before, which we've worked in over 100 different niche markets out there at this point in time in the last 10 years of running our firm, you could take the exact winning ads, landing pages, campaigns, funnels, all of it that works for your niche already, that we spent many times years of time and millions of dollars of ad spend to figure out what works the best in your niche, and buy it from us so you can literally just copy paste all of it in your ad account and get the same results we're getting. As long as you're in a different geographic area as our client or past client, it's fair game for you to use it as well. And it'd be way cheaper, way less time consuming to just use the winning version of everything that works in your niche that we figured out for you already than to figure it out for yourself. If you're interested in that type of thing, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com, and I'll let you know if we worked in your niche market and how much results we've gotten in your niche market if we worked in that market before. We've got, by the way, people that use these templates to start other businesses on the side. Whether, if you're trying to get into e-commerce, we got plenty of e-commerce templates to sell products you can easily source from China and get turnkey results with it. Or if you want to start a lead generation business where you can sell leads to people and be able to make money playing an arbitrage game between what you could pay for them and what other people in the space that that niche that you're generating leads for will be willing to pay for them, and have a passive income business, ultimately, because a lead selling business is a passive income business that you basically have to do no work on once the funnel is going and running and you got people to buy those leads. Anyway, if you're interested in any of that, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. But I'll wrap everything up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.